In today's video, we are going to create an amazing travel poster design in Photoshop. Grab your mouse as we dive in. First things first, we are going to create a new document. Choose a solid color. With a solid color in place, we are going to create a new layer. Grab a soft round brush. Opacity set to 100. Foreground is set to this S code. Increase the brush with the right bracket key and we are going to click once. Create a new layer with a soft round brush. Foreground is set to white and we are going to click once. Set blend mode to overlay. Now let's grab our asset for this tutorial. Ctrl C to copy. So we are going to copy this image, convert that into a smart object. Ctrl T to transform. Create a mask. With the mask selected, grab a soft round brush, reduce opacity a bit. Foreground is set to black. Then we are just going to brush to mask out this portion. Now let's grab this image, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Position it right here. Create a mask. With the mask selected, grab the gradient tool. Then we are just going to drag this way to erase. We are going to grab this image, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Position it right here. Holding down the shift key, we are just going to select these layers and copy all of them together. Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Then we are just going to position them and put them in place. So we are going to select these layers and drop them right here. Let's grab this image. We drop the layer right here. Transform, Ctrl T to transform that a bit. Then we are just going to rotate it. With the shift key, we are just going to select all these layers. Ctrl G to make a group. We have it right here. And we are just going to use the arrow key to adjust that a bit. Now we are going to grab the crop tool. Now we are just going to paint some shadows here and there. So we are going to create a curves adjustment layer. With this layer selected, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste, Ctrl T. We are going to transform this a bit. Position it right here. Then we drop the layer. With the layer selected, we are going to create a mask. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, we are going to reduce the opacity. Foreground is set to white. And we are just going to paint some back. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, increase opacity a bit. Foreground is set to white. We are going to right click and change the roundness of the brush. Then we are just going to paint some shadows. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, right click and we are just going to change roundness. Foreground is set to white and we are just going to paint some shadows. Increase opacity a bit. And we are just going to paint some shadows. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, foreground is set to white and we are going to paint some shadows. We are going to create another exposure adjustment layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, reduce opacity. Foreground is set to white and we are going to paint some shadows. With the same technique, we are just going to create an exposure adjustment layer. Invert the mask by pressing Ctrl I. With a soften brush, we will just paint some shadows. We are going to create an exposure adjustment layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, increase opacity a bit, foreground is set to white, and we are just going to paint. Create another exposure adjustment layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, we right click and we are just going to change the roundness of the brush. Foreground is set to white. We reduce opacity and we are just going to paint some shadows. Once we have everything in place, then we are going to press Ctrl Alt Shift E to merge all layers. Right click and convert that into a smart object. Then we'll go for camera raw. So filter, camera raw filter. All we are going to do is we are going to play with the settings until we like the outcome. Once that is looking good, then we hit OK. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do hope to see you in the next one. Till next time, stay creative.